Well, it's time.
Got 5:30, so we call the meeting to order, the Champaign Park District regular board meeting. Comments from the public. We have several that I have here. Public comments are important to the board. However, it is the board's policy not to take action on items until time has been taken to gather and evaluate information, as well as discuss available options. The absence of an immediate response does not indicate a lack of interest in the matter. During the community input portion of the agenda, the board may typically ask residents to provide input before non-residents. The purpose of public participation is to allow the public to address and inform the board. Please remember that the board has a limited time to hear from citizens while also efficiently conducting Park District business. After an individual has spoken, that individual may not address the same issue again. Any limitation about addressing the board may be waived by it. Planned agenda presentations may, within the board's discretion, exceed certain time limits. Public comments are limited to not more than 3 minutes. And I believe our timer is not working. So you're on the honor system, kind of. Marguerite's going to get to it. First public comment I have, Daniel Johnson.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. My name is Daniel Johnson. I live in rural Champaign County, just north of Rantoul. And I strongly believe that Champaign needs and wants a community ice rink, centrally located in downtown. So a brief background on how me and my wife got involved in this project. So we found Omni Development Corporation online, and they had a picture of their ice rink. And I was like, what the heck? I have not heard anything about this. So what did I do? I gave Dennis's office a call, and he responded back to me, 15, 20 minutes later. And me and him had a great conversation, which led us getting connected with Colin. And my wife had some connection with Colin already. So we started brainstorming, had a few meetings, and came up with a plan to get this out to the public, get this out to the community, and, let's make this project happen. So we started out emailing all the local hockey clubs in Central Illinois: Champaign, Decatur, Danville, Bloomington, Springfield, Kankakee, Peoria, Pekin, the high school hockey club associations as well. We reached out to the figure skating clubs in Central Illinois, curling clubs too. There's quite a few in Chicago, St. Louis, and Indianapolis. So if we could incorporate that into this project, it could be a central meeting point for these clubs as well. The U of I Hockey Club has been contacted, the Figure Skating Club and Speed Skating Club has been contacted. We've even reached out to the Chicago Blackhawks and have received interest in this project from their Executive Vice President of Affiliates, Brian Snyder. We made contact with US Figure Skating, sent letters, emails, made phone calls to USA Hockey, USA Curling, just to show support for this project. We've each reached out to College Curling with a response on how they could assist establishing a college curling team here locally. We sent out an email to the executive director of College Hockey Inc., Sean Hogan, with a response. I've also sent out letters, snail mail to the NHL just to see what they would say. And I also took some time out of my Saturday one day to go downtown Champaign. I passed out 60 flyers that were linked to the survey that we created. So I walked into these businesses and got a lot of feedback from the employees of these businesses or whoever was in there running the operation at the time. And I would highly suggest you guys just taking some time and honestly just walking into these businesses on a Saturday at 3:00 and asking what they think of this, this project and what it could do for them. They said it would bring a lot of foot traffic and help downtown. And not just have empty buildings, spend money in their businesses. And, I've probably forgotten some groups that we've emailed or reached out to, but I'm trying to get the information out and connect the right people to this project. We've also created a survey, which I think has been passed out, and there's some copies right next to the secretary, that just breaks down the need for this in this community. I understand that it's a huge undertaking, and it's something that will not happen overnight. There's a lot of planning and coordination with a lot of other groups. I will be your biggest supporter in any way possible. And thank you for the opportunity to speak. I hope you can see the need for a community ice rink and what it could do for this area.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Next, the one I have, Bo Cheeseman. Correct?
Perfect. Oh,
How we doing?
Yeah.
I just kind of wanted to speak on the behalf of kind of my history in the game and growth. Obviously, thank you, everybody who showed up. This is amazing from a hockey community standpoint. I love that we have, as they say in junior hockey, butts in the seats. It's always a good thing for us. So, but for me, I just kind of wrote a little bit of kind of my idea and my journey in this game, especially being an Illinois product. So, for me, when you think about a hockey rink, it's just really easy. We think of ice, we think of boards, we think of glass, scoreboards. I think what we really need to think here is opportunity. If we need to get away from the physicalness and create and look at opportunity. I grew up in Illinois, dreams of playing hockey at the highest level. I want to say that was 1984, 85. I was in Peoria. Not a ton of hockey opportunity. Because of my passion and my growth, I had to leave early. I had to leave home at 13 and 14 years old to pursue the game. At the collegiate level, I had to leave the state and go to Michigan to find my way to professional hockey. I'm lucky enough to say that I was a 4-year full scholarship Division I college hockey player, and I was able to play 8 years professional hockey in the American Hockey League and the East Coast Hockey League. I think for me, this project is a passion piece because now my journey from a player standpoint has ended, but as a kind of a developer and a grower, I think it's just beginning. So now we're for full circle. I own a training facility in Bloomington, Illinois. It's called the Lab Hockey Training Facility. We support 90 youth hockey players in the summer. We travel all around the country. We train, we work out, we skate, we practice. We go to baseball games. We eat lunches. But our community is growing in the sense that there are a lot of players that are dreaming my dream. And I think it's my job to help facilitate that dream to the best of my abilities. Whether that dream is to play high school hockey, whether that dream is to play juniors, whether that dream is to just put your skates on for the first time, or that dream could be go find someone in a community that might not ever consider hockey and help them learn the game. Opportunity gives us everything that we need. Between that, I just bought a junior hockey team. We put it in Danville, Illinois, the Danville Iron. So we're trying to resurrect hockey in that market. That's been a successful junior hockey market. I'm proud to be the owner and the head coach of that team, and we're consistently recruiting players. I've actually been in the parking lot since 2:30. I'm happy to say I signed 2 players since I was sitting in this parking lot. So one of those players, not public knowledge, Brett, Jeff, is coming to our community from Cape Town, South Africa. Wow. So when we talk about opportunity, that's a massive opportunity. And that young man and his family is going to come to Danville. That young man is going to live with a family in Danville. And he's going to go back to Cape Town, South Africa, and talk about hockey in Illinois. How cool is that? That's amazing for me. And I'm very proud of that. So I think this project is going to allow people like myself to continue to grow the game, to continue to bring opportunity to our market. This isn't Chicago. This isn't St. Louis. This isn't Quebec or Toronto. This is Champaign. This is needed. We need this. Yes, there's people like me that can bring the passion. Passion only goes so far when you go to a rink and say, we don't have any ice to give you. I have that opportunity in Bloomington. They can't sell me any ice. And I'll be very blunt and honest. That's a $30,000 buy in the down season. And they don't have any ice. So 90 kids have to go to Chicago, Minnesota, Texas, and Nashville to skate. And they're all from Central Illinois. So I'm happy to be here. I think this is a tremendous opportunity, but it's that. Right now, it's an opportunity. And I hope the decision makers in the room, whoever they are, take that opportunity and really understand that the next story has yet to be written. And I'm very proud to help that next player get where he wants to be. And I hope you guys do too. Thank you guys very much. Have a great day.
Thank you. Last one we have is Valerie Burke Partners.
Hi, my name's Sally Burkhart. I have kind of a different perspective than what you've heard from the previous commenters, as I am not really hockey involved. I have been figure skating since I was 6 years old, and I grew up in an Illinois Park District program. From that program, I was able to come ski for the University of Illinois for 4 years on the collegiate synchronized skating team. So I've seen what a Park District program can do. And this town has a real opportunity for not just hockey. Hockey, there's so many positives there. Please don't misunderstand me. But Colin has heard me say many, many times that kids that are involved in Park District figure skating programs, Park District learning to skate programs, are more engaged, connected community members. They want to be a part of the community. They want to better their community. Whether that's just within their own little skating section or if it's a bigger view. A Park District Learn to Skate program is going to open up worlds of opportunities for kids that are to adults that are, 99, whatever that age may be. They truly do provide for all ages, all abilities in a structured program. Beyond that Learn to Skate program, we also have opportunities for figure skating clubs. What I didn't say is I'm also the vice president of the Illini Figure Skating Club. So contract ice there, freestyle ice, ice dance clubs, adult freestyle sessions. Ice show is a huge annual event that just brings awareness and visibility to the rest of the community. With an ice facility that has time, there's an opportunity for summer camps to come in and have their first taste of the ice, their first time tying on skates. With the Park District Learn to Skate program, you're likely to be able to provide an instructor to help facilitate that and make that a more positive experience. Youth groups, the list goes on and on. You can bring in so many. So we've heard from hockey, we've heard from figure skating. We also have speed skating. We also have sled hockey's in there. We have, there's just so it really is unlimited. The list I think I sent you, Colin. I think you were like, well, this is more than I asked for. Sorry, I spent time thinking about this. Oh, thank you. I'm being told it's time, so thank you for letting me say how important the other side of ice availability is. In addition to hockey, I appreciate it.
Was there anybody else that wanted to speak that didn't get a forum or turn in? Just one hand up. Yeah. Oh, and we've got 2 hands up. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Marissa Sierro, and this is, what's your name? Peter. This is Peter Sierro. We became a hockey family because of the Learn to Skate program. Also, the firefighters versus police officer hockey game that happens every year as a fundraiser and awareness to really unite our community. And I think that it's been my journey as a mom and a wife to see the impact that hockey and the ice rink community has had on my family. And also a chance for us to expand not only our physical fitness, our mental wellness, and the joy that we have just as a family in our community. From my background, I look at this as a huge opportunity for economic development in our community and an amazing chance to really take a stand and leave a lasting impact for all of Central Illinois. Getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday morning to go to hockey practice is just part of the deal. Having to drive 45 minutes to an hour and a half, 2 hours to different tournaments, yes, that's part of the deal. But the opportunity to have our own or more home ice would be greatly impactful for us as a family, us as a community, and I think it's a great opportunity to help support economic development regionally. So thank you all. Do you have anything you want to say?
I have a really good time enjoying and playing hockey. It's very fun to do. I hope a lot of you like to play hockey, and you'll have a great time playing it.
Thank you. You have one more? Possibly another one after that? Okay.
Already on, ready?
Yeah, just name and where you're from.
Sure, my name is Brett Pugh, live at 1309 Workdale Street, Champaign, Illinois. And I'm a season ticket holder for the Illini Men's Hockey Club. I actually go to women's games too, and that facility, as many people have pointed out, is busy from the time it opens to the time it closes. Even to try to sometimes push that bigger and find students to cover that, it's still full. So much to the fact that I've actually talked to a few of the women's hockey teams. They try and get extra, maybe practice time later this season. It doesn't exist. In order for somebody to get more, somebody else has to get less. And that's just a fight maybe we don't need in this town anymore. It's a facility like this where it'll be utilized pretty much from the day it opens all the time. You're gonna have more beer leagues, you're gonna have people of different ages coming in, not just figure skating, speed skating, there's hockey, there's broom ball, there's different things that can happen. It's gonna bring a lot of community together, and that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Just make sure you state your name and where you're from and 3 minutes.
Hello, my name's Nicholas Miner, Champaign, Illinois. My son back there, Oliver, plays hockey for the Champaign Urbana Chiefs. I am currently the public relations director of Champaign Urbana Chiefs. I also do the announcing for the men's Illini hockey team. We were transplants here. It's almost 10 years now. And we just happened to think of what can we do during the winter time, and we saw that there was a learn to skate program through the U of I. So we put our kid in there, and he took to the ice naturally, and it was all downhill from here. And got gone into hockey, and yeah, it's been nonstop. Over $5,000 I'm going to be spending this summer with hockey camps, and they are not here. So I would rather spend that money here if I could with a facility like one that's being proposed. Because the other ones are going to Bloomington and going up to Michigan for camps. And that's just for the fees to get to there. Not to mention how much a family's going to spend being there. There's actually a group of 7 of us who are going up to Michigan to do this camp, where we could have someone here to do the camp and spend all our dinner money and everything else here. So I never thought I'd be into hockey, or anything on the ice. The current ice arena is my second home. I spend almost half my time there and at home. And I really hope to see this in the future. Every time I see an article about a possible arena, I get really excited, and then there's nothing. So I hope that this gets looked into, and I hope progress happens. So thank you for your time.
Else, that please.
Sorry.
What's?
You want to go first? Sure. Go ahead. My name is Elizabeth Bartel. I am from Thomasboro, Illinois, it's just north of Champaign. And I just want to say this group's facilities, I've spent so much time and they're amazing. We are a hockey family and we got into it, and a couple of our sons' coaches are here, but Darren, and it's just a sport that brings community and a lot of people together. And when we're in these facilities, especially the Park District facilities in the Chicago area, it is amazing to see how they put the schedule up, and hour after hour after hour is just fully booked. And it would be encouraging to see maybe the Park District in this area wanting to put a facility in, just because they're utilized in all of the smaller suburbs and around in the Chicago area. And this group, they build an amazing facility with a lot of extra amenities, restaurants. They even have I've seen surrounded by like some outdoor facility areas as well. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you. State your name and where you're from, and
My name is Lonnie Willoughby, and I have a business adjacent to the property that was being proposed. I believe I saw a map today. And I'm an ice skater, and I've been an ice skater since I was a child, and it's one of my early hobbies. Not professional by any means, but as a property owner, I'm concerned about parking. If that area is being considered, parking is a real issue. Currently, University Group is building a large collection of properties around that area. I'm on First Street, straddling Willow at Logan, and currently Marshall is being, the roads have been torn up for a year and a half for me, so it's been very problematic. But parking is dissolving by the day. A lot of like University Group's tenants were using the streets for parking, and those are disappearing. So we have no parking essentially. So my question is about projected parking, and is there a consideration for that to take some of the pressure off of businesses that are established? There's also an urban through the city, I guess there's an urban residential rezoning consideration, 12 stories and higher on a street not too far away as well. So I don't know what this area is going to look like, but Midtown was straddling between. I don't know if I'm touching on topics that are, outside of the reach of the Park District, but it's something that has to be considered. And I feel like Champaign downtown is already like a fat man in a little coat. There's not enough parking. There's nowhere literally for anyone to, to park. So I think that's hurting businesses that we want to stay. We don't want to be, pushed out, but there's also infrastructure and it has to be made. So my question is about that.
thank you. Okay,
Can I make a quick comment?
sure. Yes, again, state your name, where you're from, and
My name is Katie Churchill. I'm from Champaign. And I walked in a couple minutes late because I actually was coming from the ice arena.
And I just wanted to be another voice for the figure skating community because I think there's a lot of constituents there as well. I'm the president of the figure skating club and I coach from the local synchronized skating teams. Synchronized skating was actually just adopted as an Olympic sport yesterday. So there's like growing enthusiasm for different aspects of figure skating. And I think a community rink, I grew up in kind of a community rink area. And when I came down here as a student, I got really used to the setup that we had at the university. And we have a good rink at the university and they have their programs there. It's just a very different feel than kind of what a park district runs or what a privately runs. And I think there is room and availability for kind of all of the different types of skating programs. And as I grew up in Champaign, from being a college student to being like a young professional to being a mother and now a coach, I've seen the sports that my own daughter has done. She's not been interested in skating as much and she's done different things in the community. And as a student, I had the view that maybe the infrastructure wasn't here for sports the way I was used to sports from the time that I came up. And then seeing some of the other availability in different sports and different facilities in town, it made me realize like what fertile ground we have in Champaign for ice sports and how kind of enhanced facilities could be helpful to just flow that fertile ground. So I wanted to echo every comment that I've heard here today. I think a facility that was built for the community, that was accessible to the community, that has good parking, because without good parking, it's hard for community members to use it, and has time to keep money and excitement in Champaign for ice sports. So thank you.
Yeah. Sure.
So my name is Sarah Benevento and I live in Champaign, Illinois. I didn't grow up in a hockey family or anything. Yes, I would go to like Flyers games because I'm from the East Coast. But I wanted to provide a supplemental perspective to people as someone who didn't grow up in a hockey family, but I was a former athlete, played in college, taught softball. I come here and I'm like, well, what can I do? What other things can I get involved in? And I tell you that I have, friends my age who didn't grow up with hockey and just want to play, right? And it's so hard to find time and space to do that. And I want to bring this back to the community point that people made is that hockey is really expensive, right? But we have the demographic to support the facility. But also if it's through the park district, that really provides opportunity to low income kids who haven't had the opportunity to, play these kinds of sports, right? And the park district can help be a part of that, because there's a huge disparity in who gets to play hockey and who doesn't. And a lot of it's income, right? A lot of it's location. And having a facility in Champaign would really help close that disparity and address that part of it too. And we can bring money to Hill Street Garage. I haven't seen it filled yet. And I live right down the street. So just want to emphasize that community part. It's not just youth who want to play hockey or do ice skating. It's not just older adults, right? But there's that middle range too. People like me who are really just looking to pick up something new, have fun, like go to a clinic, play tennis, right? Go play ice hockey, play soccer, right? Just doing a little bit of everything. There's a big pool for that here too. So I want to supplement that with some of these other great speakers. So thank you.
Beautiful.
Well, they covered most things. My name's Vince. I'm from Champaign. I played for the Chiefs as a kid from house league all the way up through high school. I just wanted to say that this isn't a new problem either. When I was in high school, we went to Orland Park and Pullman Flossmoor twice a weekend for games. We traveled a lot. So this isn't a new problem that we have. This has been going on for 20, 30 years, if not longer. So just keep that in mind when you guys are thinking about it.
Okay, now our segue, basically, presentation from spectator.
Hello there. I'm Colin. I'm with Royce and Brinkmeyer Apartments, and I just wanted to do maybe a quick intro of our guest spectate group. And I'm a community member, and I live in Champaign, and I was born in Urbana, and I was a skater too. I was not good enough to make it to any level of serious competition, but as my partners are Mike Royce and Dennis Whitty, who we're here with as well, and we've got some background up on the screen. And hockey development or ice skating developments or arena developments is not one of our skill sets, but we do have our ears open, and we suspected that there was significantly more demand for skating in Champaign than what we had resources for. And we started to poke our nose in it a little bit and ask a few questions. And we met Valerie, and we met Bo, and we met all these people who are in various skating clubs. And it seems like there's a significant number of people who are blocked out from ice time on account of the facility as the constraint. So as we began to ask ourselves those questions, it also seemed like there was a national trend where Alyssa Liu wins the gold medal in figure skating, and USA Hockey wins the gold medal, both men and women. And it just seems like skating is popular, but as the last gentleman said, that this is not a fad that is a short term, everybody loves skating for this 5-year period. This has actually been swelling up for a number of decades, and I was 10 years old when I was skating, and it was true then, and I'm 43 now, and it's still true. So as we began to wonder whether there was significantly more demand than what we had facilities for, we began to ask ourselves, okay, well, how much would a facility cost, and how much can a facility earn? And we also recognize it's not the job of Champaign Park District to do economic development and stimulate tourism and some of the things that would be side benefits if a facility maybe got built, which is why we probably should engage some other groups as well. So we want to probably mention that, probably Experience CU, probably the city of Champaign, who would be beneficiaries of a facility. But it seems like we should be here to introduce what could this look like, what could the Park District's interest be. It seems like that should be your question to evaluate for yourself, whether you're involved, whether you're the sole involved party or there's other involved parties, are all questions that we can only show you what it could look like, and love to hear your comments. So without further ado, as we started asking those questions, it didn't take long to realize that we needed to consult with a specialist, somebody who has done this before and knows how much money to reserve per year for Zamboni costs, and how much payroll should be, and what should utilities be. And so we met Spectate Group. We were very pleased to be introduced to them. And they do this. They'll tell you a little bit about their pedigree and their background and their resume. But having the specialists do it is, I think, a great opportunity that we'd like to show you, because they do all of the architecture and the bidding and the hiring and the Zambonis and all of the complicated things. Because that's their calling, that's their mission. We have a long resume to tell you about that. So Chris Coleman is going to come up, so I'm going to pass to you.
Did you want to go through the survey now?
Well, actually, I think the survey even got maybe distributed, and I'd like to thank all of our help, by the way. We had a groundswell of support that showed up, but the survey is overwhelmingly in favor of ICE. So I'll leave that as a punchline, but then the actual anecdotes are also provided for you.
Thank you very much. As Colin said, my name is Chris Coleman. I'm the president of the Nicholas family of companies. When he reached out to us and told us about this opportunity, we were very excited, because we're very passionate about skating and ice sports and the impact they can have on the lives, particularly of young people, to give them a path, something that they a lot of times don't have access to, but also for the community. They kind of go hand in hand, community and the participants. And we also have a lot of connections, including Frank Boris, who's here. He's a recent graduate of the University of Illinois. Frank is the president of Spectate Group, and it's his responsibility to lead these efforts. So let me go through a couple of slides here. So we are the Nicholas family of companies is a private firm, privately owned, nearly 50 years old. It operates several companies. The biggest company that it operates is Nicholas and Associates, which is a general contractor. That was actually the first company that was formed in 1978. Nicholas does over $500 million of construction work a year for public entities, principally schools, but also park districts, police, fire, other community buildings. So we have a unique perspective of helping bodies like yours be good stewards of the dollar for the taxpayers, but also deliver something of substance to the community, because that's what we get up and do every day. By virtue of our work for park districts and school districts, we've touched a lot of sports. In fact, there's almost no athletic component or facility that we haven't touched, whether it's field sports, hard court sports, gymnasiums, field houses, natatoriums, or ice. We've been a beneficiary of being part of all of those types of projects. But we have a specific emphasis or a particular emphasis in ice sports and hockey, skating, figure skating, anything related to ice. And what we've discovered is that there's, within the world of these ice facilities, most of the facilities are not well maintained. So you've got an interesting paradox with a sport that one of the people came up and eloquently spoke about, the travel time to go to these destinations, and then have your child or yourself participate in an event in a facility that's not really well maintained or ideally designed, comfortable to be in. So part of our thesis is to design facilities that themselves are a destination for the participants, the players, the coaches, the parents, and the spectators. And that's kind of where Spectate came from. We want it to be an environment that people are excited to come to, that resonate within the community and become a showpiece for the community. So one of the other things, so this slide shows the variety of companies that fall within the family of companies. And you've got the general contractor, you got Spectate, the sports facilities and management group. So we bring those two together. We also have a development company that can facilitate other development adjacent to a sports facility if that was something that was important. We have a hospitality group, right? And we use that for the food and beverage. When we design and deliver a rig or this facility, it's not going to be stale nachos and pretzels that you're going to break your tooth on. It's going to be a very nice menu of food that you're going to want to eat, right? These are people who are going to be in the facility, if you design it appropriately, for an hour or so. Now, I'm not talking about the participants. I'm talking about mostly the parents. You drive your child to practice. Hopefully you won't have to drive an hour and a half anymore, but you drive your child to practice, and then you pretty much have a dilemma. Do I go home? And by the time I get home, I got to come back? Or do I leave? Because most rinks, I don't want to be here. Where am I going to go? Well, we try to create an environment where someone wants to stay, wants to be in that environment. So what I want to do now is I want to take you through some of our facilities and talk about the different operating structures and the way that they were brought to life. And what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to demonstrate that while each one is slightly different, that if there's a will, there's a way, right? We can figure it out. If you, as the body, say, this is something that we want to advance, we will engage with you and we will try to tailor, fashion a financing mode to bring it to life. Okay. So this first facility here, this was the first facility that we did. It's the Mount Prospect Ice Arena. It started out as an adaptive reuse, actually, of an old credit card processing facility that we converted into a twin sheet facility. Then we subsequently added a third sheet. That was a new build, a third sheet for the Illinois Reapers hockey program, high-level hockey program. This site is bigger than we would typically design It also includes in the foreground of that one photo, you can see there's a small field turf there and then a little baseball diamond. So this is the ice teams can use that for dry land training, but we also use that particular location for, you know, soccer teams use it, football teams use it, baseball teams, softball teams. But that was our foray into this elevated design for ice facilities. The next one is the Rosemont Ice Arena. I should back up and say that that first one was 100% privately financed. Okay, it was a distressed purchase on the HSBC credit card processing facility, so there was a very low basis. But then everything else, on top of that, was either funded through traditional debt or equity. The Rosemont Ice Arena was just delivered just about a year ago. And this is a twin sheet facility in the parking lot. If you're familiar with where the Allstate Arena is, this is essentially in the parking lot of the Allstate Arena. It is the home practice ice and all of the team facilities now for the Chicago Wolves, the AHL franchise that operates in Chicago. It's also home to Mission, which is it's all of the girls program. This is probably the most girl-focused, female-focused ice facility, maybe in the country it is. But this one cost just under $43 million. That included a structured parking garage. Somebody asked about parking. So with this facility, we built a parking garage behind it. It was publicly financed by the Village of Rosemont. It is owned by the Village of Rosemont, and Spectate has an operating agreement to operate the facility on behalf of the village. Glacier Ice Arena. This was an arena that we purchased. This is an arena that was older. We got a price in there of $14 million. That includes maintenance and repair work that we're doing to bring it up to what we consider our standard that I alluded to earlier about the experience of those people that cross the threshold in one of our facilities. And that's including taking the old snack shop. So this is one of the places where you can buy the stale popcorn that was left over from the last period. Now that's all going to be ripped out and improved, and it's going to be a much better experience. But this is another twin sheet facility, Glacier Ice Arena, privately owned, privately operated. Elk Grove Ice Arena, this one delivers next month. This is publicly financed, privately owned, and privately operated. This is a twin sheet facility in Elk Grove. This is going to be the home to the Mission Boys. This total project cost is I don't want to say anything in conflict of my notes. So the ice arena itself is $34 million. This is a redevelopment. We did a scrape here. This was an old Staples store and an Aldi's that was in a mall. We scraped those two. We're building the ice arena, and then in the outlook, we're building a Dutch Brothers Coffee and a Culver's. So this was part of the village wanted to see something done with this site. They saw what we had done with Rosemont. They had toured our Mount Prospect site. They said, we want something like that in our town. They saw the magnetic effect that the state-of-the-art, well-appointed ice facility could bring to their community. And this one, again, opens next month. And this one was, as I said, is publicly financed. This was the municipality acted as our bank. They gave us 0% financing, amortized over 20 years with a balloon payment at the 20th year. Okay. Westfield Ice Facility in Indiana. This is at Grand Park. If anybody's been to Grand Park, it's a massive outdoor turf complex. They have some indoor field houses for field sports, northern soccer and lacrosse. And it's also within that same geography as the Indiana Pacers practice facility. Westfield decided that they had this very successful facility that really operated for 8 to 9 months of the year. They wanted to activate it 12 months of the year. So they said, we're going to go out for an RFP for a 4-sheet facility. So this facility is going to be $90 million. Now we're talking about adding a parking structure. So this one might end up being more than that, but $90 million 4-sheet facility This is gonna be publicly financed, publicly owned, and privately operated. So Spectate Group will have a management contract for this. This is being constructed through what's called bot ban process, which is it's a unique bonding structure where you issue through Raymond James. Raymond James is working on this. They've done this before on other facilities. You issue bond anticipation notes. The structure, the facility is built privately. It's turned on, it's completed, programming starts, and then it's transferred to the public entity. So what that does is it creates a much more favorable environment for the construction, the design and the construction process, where it removes all of that burden from the public entity. Right? It allows the public entity to focus on what it focuses on. It allows us to focus on the design and the construction. So typically we can deliver a great outcome for the public entity at a little bit reduced cost and a faster time frame. So that's a bot ban structure. And then that brings us to the Champaign Ice Cream. So, this, what we've designed today is kind of an amalgamation of those that you've seen. And we don't have any answers today. The purpose of this presentation, again, is to show that if there's a will on the part of the Park District, you determine that there's a need for a facility like this, and all these great stories that we heard earlier, then we will take that on behalf of Colin and his team to bring solutions or possibilities to you. That's the purpose of this. But we have to start somewhere. So where we started was a 2-sheet facility with an option for a 3rd sheet that could be an arena type bowl for up to 5,000 seats. It would include the other things that we talked about, a full service restaurant, a market, a pro shop, and it would become a marquee project for club and youth hockey in the Champaign area. The primary facility, or what I would call phase 1, the twin sheet, would be close to Walnut, and then the 3rd sheet, the arena, would be over toward the track, kind of tucked into that. These are some, inspirational images. One of the things that we're doing we're doing it in Westfield, and we're doing it in Elk Grove, the one that we're delivering next month, is that we introduced an outdoor area so that we've got a bar up there on the 2nd floor. The 2nd floor is a little bit, I don't know that we included images to show this, but between the 2 sheets of ice, we've got the entire upstairs is glass looking down onto those 2 sheets. And up there, in addition to that, we've got the restaurant. So it's a great environment. You can go up there, if you want to get a coffee, you can get a coffee. If you want to get a beer, you can get a beer. You can have a pizza, you can have a panini, and then you can watch your child either practicing or having a game. If you get there and your child's game hasn't started yet, or your child's event hasn't started yet, you can be in there waiting as opposed to waiting in your car or waiting in the lobby. It's a very welcoming, comfortable environment. And with Elk Grove and Westfield, we're incorporating this outdoor area. And we can trip that out with heating elements that make it really elongate the seasonality, the seasonal use of that. We're doing a hard court facility up in Wisconsin that's going to be volleyball, basketball. That's also going to have an outdoor area like this too. The numbers are always important, right? These facilities are not cheap to build. So in our estimation, this facility, and this slide outlines the cost, and I believe everyone has seen this because the deck was delivered early. You've got a total commitment of about $48 million. And that's if you remember the numbers that I went through on the other facilities, that's roughly in line with what it costs to deliver a facility of this caliber. We have stabilized financial assumptions based on our experience operating facilities. and also our conversations that we've had with local stakeholders, because things like what can people pay for ice? I want to make one comment that people tonight have alluded to. Hockey is a unique sport for skating in general, figure skating. Any ice sport is unique in the respect that it's constrained by availability of ice. If you play almost any other sport, if I play soccer or I play basketball, all I really need is a ball. I can go find a field to play on. I can go find a court to play on. But if I want to play an ice sport, there's constraint as it relates to where can I play and when can I play. So what we find time and time again is we talk to teams and we say, how many teams do you have? I got 10 teams. Well, how many more could you have? And he said, well, I can't have any more because I can't get the ice. And we said, okay, let's say ice, you can get as much ice as you want. How many more teams could you have? And they say, I could double, just like you. But I can't right now because I don't have the ice. I can't get the ice. Or I'm willing to pay $30,000 and the people say no. I mean, that's kind of a crazy business when but it's expensive to deliver, but once you deliver it, you can fill it. So we've got $33.5 million of income. We've got expenses based on our budgeting of $2.3 million. And then we've got net operating income of $1.2 million. So these are not set in stone. These are just examples of ways that the capital stack could be structured to deliver a facility of this type. We just have three simple options here. One is where the Park District uses available funds to make a cash deployment into the facility and then uses that $1.2 million of net operating income to service bonds that will be floated to close the gap. That's option one. Option two is similar, but a partner is brought in. We put Champaign on here. Champaign has made no commitment to this dollar amount. So that's a conversation for another day. But this is essentially sharing the burden with. Take Champaign out, pick another public entity, okay? And then you have the same bond support from the net operating income. And the third one is replacing the bond floating with private equity, okay? So that equity, then the $1.2 million on net operating income is used to service the private equity that's used to satisfy the capital stack. And again, these are just three options. There are other options. But the real question, is this something that the Park District believes in that would make a difference for the community? We certainly believe that it would, and we would be very eager to help you go down this path and figure out a way to deliver something like this for the community. So that's the extent of my presentation. But thank you very much for the time. Appreciate it.
Any questions, for our guest, Colin, Chris?
And do you guys have anything that's supporting as far as the income expenses? What's in those? I mean, just a little bit more than what you provided in here.
Yeah, we typically don't share that at this stage, but it is, we've got on the construction side, we've got, this is the preliminary budget for the construction. And then our income and operating expense modeling is very robust. And it includes really any kind of revenue stream that you can imagine. We got prime ice, non-prime ice, weekend, weekday. We've got tournament income. We've got, typically in one of these facilities, we love to have a local orthopedic group as a tenant in the building. It's great synergy between them and the users of the ice. Plus, it becomes an outpatient facility for the orthopedic group on its own. Then we've got the restaurant component. In addition to the restaurant component, which I'm going to categorize as full service, we typically have more of a grab and go also. Those two don't compete with each other because the restaurant is more of a sit down. The grab and go is literally that. Mostly it's participants finishing a practice or before a practice getting a drink or something like that. So there's a variety of different revenue streams. There's also sponsorships that we would sell. There's naming rights, there's all kinds of stuff. And then on the operating side, you obviously have all the personnel, the staff who would run it. One of the most important things to include in the operating expenses is physical plant maintenance. One of the big challenges with these facilities is that you have to be diligent with maintaining the infrastructure. Because if you don't, that deferred maintenance can quickly come and bite you in the behind. Because it gets expensive quickly. If you stay on it, it's not inexpensive, it's just much less expensive than if you defer it and ignore it. So yes, as we go through the process, should we take the next step forward, that would be part of it, is we would get you involved, you see all of the numbers. And when I talk about us building it with that bot band structure and kind of relieving the park district of the obligation and the encumbrances of issuing all the RFPs and the RFQs and all of that, you know, you would still be very much engaged as part of a design team. Right? So I don't think that didn't come across, that you would just be like, we would just show up when it's done and give you the keys. So you would definitely be involved. And we would be totally transparent with all of the numbers.
I think the other thing with that big revenue number, the 3.5 million of revenue, it's not a hockey number, right? It's a blended number. So it's got club hockey in there. It's got club tournaments. It's also got learn to skate. It's got figure skating income in there. It's got clubs, camps and things like that. So it's a full top to bottom, full service.
Food and beverage, just an entire facility revenue.
Yeah, food and beverage can be done two different ways. You could do food and beverage where you just do a lease. You're like, all right, you go in there and do what you want. We're just gonna lease you the space. You're gonna be a tenant in the facility. Yeah. Or you can do a rev share with the operator, you know, and we would bring our Hattie's group in Big Fish Hospitality and run a Hattie's in there. Or you could do it where it'd be a revenue share plus a baseline lease. There's a lot of different ways that you can do it.
The costs on, it's, I guess, page 15 of the actual presentation. That does not include the arena, correct? The 5,000 arena.
That does not include the arena. The arena would be separate.
And then this survey that you guys gave us, who were the respondents of that?
So that survey was put together with like our team. We created an email, Champaign to Ice Rink. We had a local Big Lab. He created the survey, and then we just blasted it out to all and anybody who would do it, and we made a flyer and passed it around. So that information, I mean, that survey has what people want, what people don't want. I mean, the good, bad, and the ugly, right? Because everybody's gonna have an opinion about it. And it also just shows you numbers of where people are traveling, the zip codes of where people, you know, filled out this survey from. So it's a very, I think there's just a lot of data in there that shows that need for this rink. So that was very, like, I'm gonna say it's very professional. It was a simple survey with like the park district's resources or this group's resources. I feel like we could get a bigger survey, something better to even get that out to the masses. And, you know, as we gain traction on this with the News Gazette or like any other local entity to keep pressing this, or I was at your last board meeting and you guys were talking about the text messaging thing, where you get text message people like to give out information about the park district, you know, try to get that word out to people to show that need for it. I really think it's something we need to do.
This is probably for Colin and Dennis and Mike. You've got acreage downtown. How many acres first of all, do you have options and or have you acquired the property? If we're talking about several different owners downtown, can you address how many acres you're going to need and how to put it all together? Because there are a lot of entities involved.
We've tried to be vague with the area, but the area that you see on the slides that we presented, there are but two property owners on that area. And both of those property owners are engaged with us in discussion and are very supportive of this idea. And they are probably like us, waiting for the next step of support or what will be the next step in the process in order to formalize a relationship on the land. But they've been engaged and are supportive. So I think that's, am I missing anything there?
Well, we actually called them before we came into this meeting just to make sure that people would say, what are they talking about? No, so all the folks are engaged and they're highly supportive, and we feel very comfortable we can deliver that.
Okay. It's, besides the presentation, that's all I need to know.
Okay. What's your next step in the process? So you've given us a lot to digest. Where are you going next?
Yeah, I probably can jump into that too. I think we are looking for a nudge to keep going. And I think that we would want to have a formal presentation, maybe like this, to the city of Champaign. And it seems like they are a major stakeholder in this process and also a beneficiary, not only with the community profit is what we think and add value, but that the city would need to be engaged in this process. And so we are excited to go do that, but at the same time, we are, since we probably don't see them going it alone, we are probably standing by to establish some amount of reaction to see whether you would provide us that nudge.
I think you should share with them the meeting of 2 weeks ago with the CU or that group that presented on that Tuesday.
Sure. Yeah, there's Experience CU engaged the Huddle Up group to do sports facility assessment, and ICE was I think a central part of what their final delivery was. And I think it included that they were not ICE experts, but a formal feasibility study should be undertaken was kind of their recommendation to Experience CU. And Experience CU has the mission to bring in outside dollars and boost hotel stays and food and beverage. So we've become aware that there's different parties that might be engaged, but they might all have different interests. And so if theirs is stimulate tourism and Champaign's is to promote their tax base, and perhaps yours is to create attractive facilities for the development of the youth that live in our community and then for the citizens that live in our community. We don't know how all of those should overlap, but I guess you have a lot of willingness from us to take this roadshow to them and get them excited or get them included or facilitate a conversation with you all to see where it could go. And then, but if it's going somewhere, Spectate has the financing options to help kind of shepherd how that conversation could go and maybe what the capitalization structure could be.
I think one of our challenges are just the way you guys are structured is you guys have separate silos. You have a park district and you have the city, and both people would tremendously have an advantage if both, if it works for both sides. And so that we are helping, and we have covered this at a couple levels with the city manager, and I believe that they have a lot of interest in seeing that this will happen. And we've actually toyed with a number of different possibilities, simply like we were showing up there different options of how this might happen. But we've toyed with that as well. And of course, before we get too far along, we want to get you guys talking to each other because we want to make sure that everybody's interest is kept, but we don't want to get in trouble by telling you the city's in, and, because we got to get you guys talking to each other. That's how we got to kind of prod this along.
I read the article in the paper, nice timing on that. You touched a little bit in the article, I guess, about U of I, but that would be the other major party to get involved. A few years ago, no Div 1 hockey, and when this was all first kind of being discussed, where do they stand on, obviously they have the single sheet, old building, great place to watch a game, but Where do they stand on this, and would they be involved at all?
We're not in a discussion with them about their inclusion. So I think they are still pursuing options for what should they do with their ice. But I think their time scale is long enough that they're not raising their hand saying, hey, can we join the conversation? That has not happened. So therefore there isn't a dialogue that's underway.
We feel like there's the community, this should come from the community side, the city and you folks, and make that more of the driving force as opposed to the university being the one that drives this, just because you guys want it for your community, and if the university does it, everything they're going to do is probably for the university, I'm assuming. And so this is a great opportunity for you guys to be in control of your own destiny, is how we view it.
Yeah, none of our numbers, we've never had a conversation with the University of Illinois. Not since Frank graduated, but. They're not, they don't appear in any of our revenue assumptions at all. This is strictly a community based problem.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time, and
Thank you guys. Thank you for.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for hearing us out.
to those in the audience, you can stick around, obviously, but it is not the fast-paced game that you will enjoy. It's from here on.
Thanks a lot. Do I ask you? Hey.
Next up, communications. Thank you. We have. Okay. Is that treasurer's report?
So we have the treasurer's for June. So we noticed on there that we have some CDRs, as well as some investment in treasuries, as well as some new so I did want to
Everyone shut up. So we're the audience. Sorry.
So you'll notice that the total cash balance is at 60 million. We did receive the first two distributions of our property taxes. So we're at 49% of total property tax levy. Hopeful that we'll receive three more distributions to bring up us to the total for June. And then our final distribution should come in December. I'm happy to answer any questions. Yes.
Yeah, well, first installments. All protests that aren't in yet, and so that 49% maybe 51 or 52.
Yeah, the treasurer normally it's a little bit back, which is why we get a third distribution hopefully in August. Just to ensure that there's not any disputes that need to back, but we do get interest on it if we hold it for.
So two more you sent.
So we'll likely have one in August, maybe September, but I think December will be that long.
And you'll get some that some contest in the states. Move to accept the treasurer's report.
So. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Motion carries. Next up, executive director's report. Sarah.
Good evening. A bunch of updates. Thank you, President Simmons and Commissioner Solon for helping out at the staff breakfast a week ago. Recently, we had a nice turnout, and then of staff, and then we made some deliveries of leftover food to seasonal staff at all over the district. the Flamazing Race is returning. It is scheduled for Friday, August 14th. Flamingos are on sale now. You can purchase them individually or a Zazzle or a number of them for 10 of them, I think. Actually, but individual or you can purchase multiple at a time. It's Friday, August 14th. It's in the evening at Sholem. And we are partnering with Crew Car Wash for a fundraiser. This week, it's on Friday and Saturday. And you can go to Crew and get a free car wash. And if you make a donation towards CUSR, all of the donations that day will go to CUSR.
That's on Friday.
Friday and Saturday. 10 to 12.
This week.
This week.
Oh.
The event, the Amazing Race, is August 14th. Also happening this Friday is our next installment of See You Around the District. We will be at the Virginia Theater showing Good Burger, which was a movie selected by our new team council, team committee. And then also at Martinson Center. Yes, at Martin Center, doing a variety of activities there. Art in the Park is going really well again this summer. It's all over at various parks throughout the summer. We had a really strong turnout on attendance again, and we've had some new activities this year. We planned some different art activities. CUSR recently received a Champaign Rotary Cannon grant for sensory room enhancements. So the Cannon grants are for materials and supplies. So they'll be purchasing some upgrades to the sensory rooms that are at CUSR. We have a bunch of sculpture news. So tomorrow, Friday, everything's on Friday. Two things. Well, double clutch. We've operations and planning staff have added illumination to Double Dutch. And it'll be on this week.
Tonight.
Then on Friday, we are installing a new sculpture order. A long time ago, 40 North did a call for pieces, and we selected two of them. One of them kind of fell through, but this is one of the ones that we selected months ago, and the artist is coming to install it on Friday. So it's very exciting. And then also we're working with 40 North on revitalizing the Great Art Doors, which was a program that happened during COVID. It's temporary sculpture installations in public spaces. So we will be, we'll have 5 sculptures going into a variety of places throughout the district. And some of them are getting installed this week, others will come soon, and they'll be on display until November is the time frame. They'll be up for a while. So we'll do some press around that and identify the different, there's one at Bridgewater, there's one at Martin Center, there's one at Dodds, there's one at Porter, and one at Metz. We are halfway through summer camp, which is, really exciting and also sad that summer's coming to a close, but we've thus far served 625 kids in our campus. So I think that is it. Oh wait, and sorry, we received notice today that elections and petition filing, we received all the petition filing information. So the election will be April 6th, 2027, and petition circulation begins August 25th. And petitions may not be circulated prior to August 25th of this year. That is all.
I'm either a bad board member or a bad listener. Where's Double Dutch?
West side.
West Side Park,
On the east side.
east side.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's the one that's, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Should really look really nice looking down Park Avenue.
Yeah. All right. Committees and liaison reports. Champaign Parks Foundation, Jared.
No, Jared, how dare he miss a board meeting? The foundation is continuing with its ties and tennies planning. So a friendly reminder that Kathy Rector would appreciate if you would provide either a basket or some funds so she can put together a silent auction basket on your behalf.
I have a trunk full of wine
What'd you say?
sitting on snow.
Oh, perfect.
I'll teach it.
Please. Didn't you talk about putting together a basket at one time that would include cheese? And
Sheets of ice?
You were gonna submit it now. The event that's friendly reminder that the Tyson Tennies is September 10th. And
Tomorrow we have a walkthrough at the University High Hotel where we'll go through the actual contract and make note of things that we saw that we could do differently or better last year. So it's part of the contract and if there's an easier flow on the day of.
Thank you. Report of officers, the attorney's report.
You know, we're working on the usual array of things, and sometimes things pop up that weren't anticipated, but we're happy to answer any questions about all the things going on, and then we'll tackle a few issues in executive session.
Okay. President's report, I'll just reminder of the 7:13 strategy session and make sure you're preparing for that. We got our 3 surveys, the community survey, the architects and the ADA for big ones. Outside of that, Lenore Prairie Farms is not included among those. You need to maybe think about that. Plans for that. We got Huddle Up, we got ice, we've got a lot of things to consider as far as facilities, but beyond that, if your survey was kind of a, general feeling about where we want to head as a park district. So we need that back to Sarah so that she has kind of a framework that would be appreciated. That's it for that. Consent agenda. All items appearing below are considered routine by the board and shall be enacted by one motion. If discussion is desired, that item shall be removed and discussed separately. Anybody need to pull anything or have a question on anything?
Move to approve.
Second. None all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Next up, new business. Approval of disbursements. Staff recommends, I'm sorry.
I just recommend approval of disbursements.
Need a roll call vote on that. Got a motion first.
So move.
Second.
Commissioner Hayes,
Yes.
Commissioner Rouse,
Yes.
Commissioner Summers.
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0.
Okay, next item. Approval of a supplemental budget and appropriation ordinance from 694.
We did have a small adjustment to it, so thank you to Attorney Hall for recommending adjusting it to say 2027, April 2027. And then also to reference the specific section of the Illinois Park Code -4-4. So this is a supplemental budget amendment. State statute allows for the park district to amend the budget when there is additional revenue that becomes available or anticipated to come available. So there are 3 projects that this supplemental budget appropriations ordinance is reflecting. The first being Turnberry Ridge. We initially budgeted this in capital improvement plan at $1 million of revenue in and $1 million of expenses out. But we were notified by the housing authority that we were approved for $1.5 million. And so the supplemental budget increases it by $500,000 in revenue and also increases the expenses by the same amount. There are also additional donations that have come in on the park foundation side. $1.2 million for the Martin Center for an indoor playground. as well as $263,000 that could go towards the sporting initiative. So these would add those projects as revenues in and expenses out. Happy to answer any questions that you may have related to this.
Yeah. Questions? Otherwise, we'll take a motion.
So move.
Second, the first thing.
Commissioners,
Okay.
Commissioner Summers,
Yes.
Commissioner Rouse,
Yes.
Commissioner Hayes.
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0.
All right. Next item, approval of a resolution for the executive director to approve change orders.
Yes, so this is an annual approval of the resolution that we normally put on consent as a, just a reoccurring item. But we are recommending that the limit be increased from 10,000 to 25,000 to be consistent with the other purchasing code that the executive director has.
In short, you already have 25,000, so let's just make it consistent. So move.
Did we get the, go ahead.
I was just kidding, these are ratified and approved anyway after the fact, after the change order is taking place, correct? At the next.
Yeah, most of the time.
You end up seeing that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just keep,
Yeah. A second.
I may be looking at an old packet. Did we get the date changed?
Yes.
9/27. It was supposed to be last one. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
Oh, it's,
I have it open saved and I don't, something got changed, so. Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Next item, approval of purchase and installation of Wesley Park Playground equipment replacements.
Good evening. Wesley Park Playground, we did hold a public meeting a couple months back to gather some input from the public on this replacement. Had some good feedback both at that meeting and I think Sarah took it to a school event or something and got some additional feedback. So we are seeing that this playground will not go in the exact location that it's at now. We are recommending bringing it more centrally into the park. And then if the city continues with their Martin Luther King Boneyard project at some point that would carry through that west section of Wesley Park, then that would be an opportunity to tie the pathway to the playground. So it would be coming east into the playground a little bit more. I did want to note that this is just for the playground, the surfacing, the curbing around it. We will have separate need for some access sidewalk from the city walk off of 3rd Street to use some ADA funds to get that access to that playground. So happy to answer any questions you may have.
We doing any of the work in the house?
No.
Okay.
No.
You're saying west, and I'm trying to get the bearings here, provided for that neighborhood meeting. So we got the park currently and the playground is up against.
Correct. The railroad tracks, basically.
Yeah. And so that is the west side.
Correct.
That's where the boneyard.
That is potential there. Early design is would carry that pathway through that particular area. So it gets the playground out of the way, it gives them their pathway of what they're potentially seeking. You know, that's got pushed a few times here. So
Lovely.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Move to approve.
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Moving on, approval of bid for Springer Cultural Center concrete coating.
Yeah, so the porch, we call it, at Springer, was in pretty rough shape and has been for some time. So back in May, we had some concrete repairs done. We tore the steps out, completely redid those. And kind of next step is to put a new coating on it. It had a previous coating that was deteriorating, just in my opinion, very rough shape and dirty looking. So after this concrete fully cures out, the next step would be put this coating on too. So happy to answer any questions.
What's the wait period?
Wait period.
It takes a while to.
Yeah, I mean, at least 30 days. We'll be well past that. The reason we held off even longer, we've got day camps and summer programming and all that. So trying to fit it in when in between summer camp and preschool start. So there's a very fine line window that.
So are you gonna go back and clean it before you seal it?
That's all part, yeah. So it'll be all grinded down. We'll take it down to the profile that will accept this grind. So it's kind of a process, you know, we gotta get the old law.
I'm doing one in Urbana, I understand.
Yeah.
That's why I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Next up, approval of operations department shop parking lot reconstruction.
Okay, so this is the shop parking lot off of John Street. Haven't been out there, it's in pretty rough shape. We had some core samplings done, engaged with civil engineer and determined that in a couple of locations it's only 1 inch thick. Yeah, so other areas up to 3 inches. Yeah, I can't explain that. But it's not good. So anyway, this would be a tear out in the lanes, both either side of the parking lot would be thicker, heavier duty concrete to allow for semis and heavier traffic to come in. So that'll be a 7-inch concrete versus the 6 throughout the rest of it. This, as you can see from the memo, is a shared cost with the city of Champaign. So per our agreement with them, they will cover a portion of that cost. We did ask the engineers to include an alternate bid, which would add 10 spaces on the east side of the parking lot. We struggle in the summer months with all of our help at operations and having enough parking, so we thought this would be a good opportunity to add some spaces, and then of course on the weekends for pickleball, we're gonna need it. So I thought that pricing came back really well. Actually, I was a little surprised how good that was. So we are asking for approval for that as well.
Can I ask a question?
Sir.
Back in the day, there was some discussion with the state fire marshal about an old storage tank that was nearby.
It's on the other side of the fence.
Okay, so it's not part of this at all. Okay, just wanted to clarify that.
That still is out.
Would that be?
Do we know when that tank was set?
That it's been since removed. But yeah, there's a big backstory to that. I can fill you in on.
Because it's prior to 1975.
I think it was the early 80s, if I remember right. I've got a whole
We'll talk
timeline in a binder in my office that has everything detailed out. But
the only thing I'd like to know is how did we end up with 1-inch concrete? Can we find out who?
I don't know.
Is there any
Before
way
my
to-
time.
Okay.
Yeah. My guess is it was the best of my knowledge, it was in mid 90s, late 90s, something like that. So yeah.
The 1-inch thick, it's held up pretty well.
Yeah, it's been failing for some time, but yeah, I know. So yeah, it was shocking to see those.
Do you see any other issues, I guess, in light of moving the storage area back there? I mean, from I guess timing wise, I guess the reason I'm asking is 529.8 was allocated and it's 345. Obviously, very good pricing to which you alluded to.
Yes.
Am I missing something? Do you foresee something else going on? Are we going to need to add some stuff to the operations that we've discussed previously? Storage area.
Yeah, I mean, that'll come later. I guess maybe I'm not following, you know.
I mean, I guess, are we going to have to add some additional down the road to provide access to the storage facility that we're talking?
Some material handling.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that'll be part of the bigger project for that, that we budget for in next year.
remind us how the chief came in.
Do you, I think you're asking,
Will it roll over?
no, are you asking, why our budget number was?
That's a pretty big variance, kind of, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What am
I
I
think if you
missing?
look at the bidders though, it's, from low to high,
317 to,
you know,
well, total bid 345 up to 650.
up to 650,
Yeah.
right? So if we, and I should mention too, this is a new contractor that we have not worked with before. So we did some homework, we called some references. Allie and I actually drove up to Gibson City. He did similar size of the entire Gibson City Hospital in concrete. It passed our satisfaction look, so I feel comfortable moving forward with them. So
Where are they out?
he's out of Foosland.
Okay.
So he does a lot of work in Foosland, Gibson City, Fisher, surrounding area.
That's what I just want to make sure we're getting what we think we're getting, and that's pretty good. And I mean, even if
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're gonna keep a close eye on it, and we've got the engineer too to help us through making sure that elevations are right and different things like that, because there will have to be some scraping and aggregate added, obviously. So.
Yep.
Move to approve.
Okay, all in favor, stay
they're incredible.
Jeez, gotta be quick. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that's where Chandler Concrete did my driveway about 20 years ago. Young kid was just starting out.
Okay.
Is it Tyson maybe?
Um,
All right. Next item up, approval of bid for Dodds Tennis Center AC installation.
All right, another one we thought came in pretty good bids here. So this would be the addition for just the court area. Obviously, the other areas within the facility are already conditioned. So this would be setting two 30-ton units out on the east side of the building. We'll go with a fabric duct through two sides of the court area. Confident that they will be up high enough and out of play, so not a concern there. We will get some new power over there, some gas. This is a packaged unit, so it will provide heating as well. And we intend to leave the existing radiant heaters in place and use that as supplemental heat. So that sort of heat source can be beneficial to kind of heat the objects and things like that. So hopefully it'll cut down on some of the use of this unit.
Are we going to reattach some of the insulation and?
We talked about that
today.
this afternoon. So I think getting this in there and getting some of that humidity out of there, and it will help a lot of those things.
So you'll reattach what's falling down?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? All right, next item up, approval of talent buying and booking agent services agreement for the Virginia Theater.
Yes, we're seeking approval to award an agreement to Kevin Maynard to come on as a contractual talent buying and booking agent for the Virginia Theater, responsible for end-to-end booking, talent sourcing and booking, negotiations, and settling all the way through to show settling. We had an RFP for this role. We had a pretty good response, eight proposals, and it was a mixture of individuals and small, medium, large companies that submitted proposals. We had one local submission, and had a review committee of Virginia Theater members as well as other Park District people. And anyway, we'd like to extend a contract to Kevin. We feel like he's the most qualified and understands a municipal theater operation specifically, and yeah, has a good track record in this industry.
Some questions that were in your email this afternoon. Is there anything else?
I assume this is kind of an industry standard. This whole structure is outside of my
Yes.
knowledge, experience, everything.
Yeah, it's pretty common for this to be a
And I like that it's 1 year.
a contract role. Yeah, so a 1 year agreement and then review.
And he was doing this at Florida State.
He is currently employed. He's like the Kramer Center
Yeah.
director at Florida State right now.
Okay.
He's planning to wind that down.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. We are into our discussion items. Champaign Parks Foundation and Champaign Park District, the fourth quarter financials.
So I'll just go foundation and then I'll roll right into the park district. So we have here for the fourth quarter unaudited financials for the foundation. Total revenues from last year were 2.1 million. Total expenses of 396,000. The unaudited ending fund balance of about 3.6 million. Noted earlier in our discussion, we had a major donation come in of 1.2 million that was specifically designated for the Martin Center. So happy to answer any questions related to those, or if there's not, I could roll right into the park districts. All right. So for the park district, I did provide a little bit, this is going to sound kind of technical. I wanted to provide a little bit more communication about the fourth quarter report. So this covers operating and capital. So as we prepare for the audit that will actually start next week, we're required to do some year-end adjustments because all year we were on a cash basis, and so we moved to modified accrual. So we have to review all the revenue deferrals. So anything that is related to registration starting in February, that needs to be deferred into the next year because on a modified accrual basis, we have to recognize revenues when services are rendered rather than when revenues are received. We also have to do various accrual journals as well as payroll accruals through this year. We had to date back payroll through the May 15th, just to make sure that when work was rendered, we have to account for it in the prior year. As well as accounts payable. So we had invoices rolling through, I think mid-June, that were related to work that was for the prior year. So all of that kind of goes into these unaudited financials so that we are ready for our audit and we'll hopefully have no adjustments from the auditors. So for the fiscal year 25-26, we had total year-end revenues came in at 29 million. Total expenses of 24.4 million. So we are anticipating a net increase in ending fund balance of 4.6 million. Happy to answer any questions related to the fourth quarter.
What's the timing of the audit? How quickly do they turn that around usually?
So they will start their field work next week. We will probably get a draft of the audit by the end of September. So we're required by state statute to finalize the audit before October 31st. So that's really our deadline. We'll probably have that to you first meeting in October, if not the second, to make sure that we adopt that on time. Something new at the state level is if you are late on your audit, they'll actually start fining you. Because they had a lot of municipalities that were late for an extended period of time. So we are on track to meet that deadline.
Good to hear it was timely.
Okay. Any questions? If not, board will convene into executive session under the Illinois Open Meetings Act, specifically 5 ILCS 122, Section 1, for the discussion of the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body or legal counsel for the public section 5, the purchase or lease of real property for the use of the public body, including meetings held for the purpose of discussing whether a particular parcel should be acquired. And section 11, litigation, when an action against, affecting, or on behalf of the particular public body has been filed and is pending before a court or administrative tribunal, or when the public body finds that an action is probable or imminent, in which case the basis for the finding shall be recorded and entered into the minutes of the closed meeting. I motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Need a roll call vote.
Commissioner Hayes,
Yes.
Commissioner Summers,
Yes.
Commissioner Rex.
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0.
Next up, comments from the commissioners.
None.
Said everything. Okay.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?